Now that we talked about the White Primordial Testarossa and the Purple Primordial Ultima, all that's left to finish out the Demoness Trio is Carrera, or also known as the Yellow Primordial JAUNE. As usual, we'll be taking a look at the character, powers and abilities to find out just how powerful she truly is. It goes without saying that there will be spoilers for a character because I'll be talking about stuff from the light novel, so here's a spoiler warning just in case. Also, if you enjoyed the video and want to see more, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Tensura content in the future. To start, Carrera, or the Yellow Primordial JAUNE, was one of the primordial demons that ruled over the underworld. She's a battle maniac who constantly fought with the White and Purple Primordial in the underworld, and because of their constant fighting, they would earn the nickname of the Demoness Trio. Before she was recruited by Diablo, the Yellow Primordial was responsible for guarding the underworld gate located in El Dorado, the country ruled by Demon Lord Leon Cromwell. Because the gate was located quite close to the capital of El Dorado, she would come out on a daily basis to fire random nuclear magic on the city for fun, and she's basically a blonde Megumin. Leon even tried to negotiate with her on multiple occasions, but she just ignored him. Honestly, I feel really bad for Leon, and I can see why the Yellow Primordial has the worst reputation out of all the other primordial demons because she is just too unpredictable and destructive. Having said that, Diablo later went into the underworld to recruit subordinates to help with his work, where he invited the Demoness Trio to meet with his master, Rimuru Tempest. The only reason they agreed to Diablo's offer was because they were curious what kind of person Rimuru was and how he managed to impress someone like Diablo. When they met Rimuru, he thought they didn't look that strong and he dismissed them as threats, but Wisdom King Raphael corrected him, which made it look like he wasn't afraid of them. However, the Yellow Primordial was still suspicious of him, so when she introduced herself, she released some of her aura to intimidate him, but he didn't react to it, which made her think that he was ignoring her, and it actually impressed her. Seriously, Rimuru is one of the most oblivious and luckiest person in the series. But anyways, the Yellow Primordial pledged her allegiance to him, offering 2 high-ranking demon lieutenants and 200 demon soldiers to serve him. Then the Demoness Trio followed him to the labyrinth, where he provided majesty bodies for their demon subordinates to inhabit. For the Demoness Trio themselves, they were provided a special type of ORICHALCUM body that was made by mixing gold into magisteel. The ORICHALCUM bodies are stronger and it allows for better magical manipulation than the average magisteel ones. After the Yellow Primordial possessed the ORICHALCUM body and awakened, Rimuru decided to give her the name of Carrera, named after the Porsche 911 Carrera. After the naming, Carrera evolved from an archdemon into a demon peer, and she now has a disaster class threat level. Additionally, her 2 demon subordinates were given names as well. One was named after the KOENISEGG AGERA and the other was named after the Lotus Aspirate. Carrera and her demon subordinates would then become part of the Black Numbers, an elite unit that directly serves Rimuru Tempest and is under the command of Diablo. But besides that, Carrera was also assigned to be the Chief Justice Officer of the Supreme Court in Tempest, where she worked alongside the Attorney General Rugert, one of the Goblin Elders. Her job basically requires her to lead the Supreme Court during public sessions when the court is hearing arguments and during private conferences when the court is discussing and deciding cases. It was the perfect job for Carrera because she had no interest in wealth or status and only understood the concept of strength, so she would never fall victim to bribery, although she would often get into fights with the chief prosecutor, the Purple Primordial Ultima, over things like how to extradite criminals and the treatment of suspects in court. That said, when the Eastern Empire attacked Tempest, she was ordered to oversee the Second Legion that was led by Gelt and assist in the defense of the labyrinth. During the siege, Carrera wanted to join the battle because Testarossa and Ultima were bragging to her through thought communication about their victories, but Benimaru ordered her to wait for the right moment, which she took quite well. Eventually, Carrera and Gelt were finally allowed to join the battle, and on the battlefield, she was ordered to just scare the remaining Imperial army, so she decided to use her most powerful nuclear magic, Gravity Collapse, against the remaining 200,000 Imperial soldiers. This spell is considered an evil form of magic and is basically a miniature black hole that crushes anyone caught within its sphere of influence. The soldiers did try their best to block the spell by setting up anti-magic barriers and using Legion magic to buff their magical resistance, but in the end, 80% of the 200,000 soldiers were turned into dust. This really shows how terrifying Carrera's magical output truly is. Having said that, after the Eastern Empire forces were defeated, Rimuru held a reward ceremony to awaken the 12 patrons into true demon lords, and Carrera was one of them. However, she was not given any souls to awaken, but only the title of Menace Lord as a reward. The reason was because Rimuru did not have enough souls to awaken the Demoness Trio together, and he wanted to maintain the balance of power between them. But later he did acquire enough souls to awaken them into true demon lords when Wisdom King Raphael had scammed Guy Crimson out of 500,000 souls. During the second Eastern Empire attack, the Demoness Trio was given orders to fight and delay the true dragon VELGRYND, and even though it was just a parallel existence that only has 20% of her power, they were still unable to defeat her. Carrera even tried to use a gravity collapse on VELGRYND, but it didn't work, so she decided to use the sword fighting techniques that AGERA taught her. Although they did put up a decent fight against VELGRYND, they were eventually overwhelmed by her and lost the battle. After the battle, Carrera finally evolved into a true Demon Lord, and later she would regroup with Benimaru and the others so they could raid the flagship of Emperor Rudra. On the airship, the raiding party had faced off against the remaining forces of Emperor Rudra, and it was decided that Carrera would be fighting the leader of the Imperial Near Guards, Lieutenant Kondo. He was considered to be one of the strongest individuals in the Eastern Empire, rivaled only by Damrada and VELGRYND. He was also at the level of a saint, the highest evolutionary stage of humans, and he had the threat level of a disaster class. He was even strong enough to manifest an ultimate skill called the King of Execution by himself without borrowing power from Emperor Rudra. During their battle, Carrera was joined by AGERA because he wanted a rematch against Kondo, but he was too strong for AGERA, so she had to step in. Because the sword was damaged by Kondo, AGERA proceeded to transform himself into a sword and the battle would begin. But because Kondo possessed an ultimate skill while Carrera did not, she was having a hard time defeating him, and she soon realized how powerful he really was. Despite that, Carrera was not afraid. Instead, she was filled with a sense of euphoria, and she even started to have a fondness for Kondo because she was able to face such a powerful opponent. I guess that's why people were always stripping Carrera and Kondo. But anyways, the fight continued and Kondo managed to cut off her left hand, which enraged her because he had harmed the body created by Rimuru. When she was about to lose control, AGERA was able to calm her down and even made her realize that she has been underestimating her opponent, so she finally accepted Kondo as her equal and became serious. However, Kondo still had the advantage of an ultimate skill over Carrera, and he eventually landed a fatal blow on her. He managed to cut open the left side of her belly, and due to the effect of his skill coupled with the fatigue, she was unable to heal the injury instantly, causing her to leak out magic. On the verge of defeat, a newly awakened Seal had reached out to Carrera, offering her power, and the power she received was in the form of the ultimate skill Annihilation King ABADDON, the absolute power that can destroy everything, but I'll talk about the skill later. For now, let's continue with the battle first, and because now that Carrera has her own ultimate skill, she regained her strength and was about to unleash her strongest magic attack, the Final Collapse Annihilation Wave, to end the fight. This is an ultimate level magic that surpassed even Gravity Collapse, and it was so powerful that it could be used to destroy the planet. By placing matter evoked from the bottom of hell in the gravitational collapse force field, the magic created from the reaction will release a powerful wave of energy blast that is said to be beyond comprehension. Kondo knew that he couldn't stop the attack, and desperate to end things as well, he charged towards Carrera, taking the full blast of Final Collapse, but as he got close, Carrera used the Sword Art 100 Flower Dazzle, breaking Kondo's blade and slashing through his shoulder. With that, Kondo fell, but before he died, he asked Carrera to inherit his broken gun and fulfill his promise to Emperor Rudra, which is to kill him with the gun if he ever loses control. He offered everything he has, including his soul, to Carrera, and the moment his fingers touched the broken gun, it blossomed with a golden glow, transforming the material of the gun into the mythical grade. He's so fused with the gun, and he has now basically become Carrera's new partner, which is quite fitting. Now let's talk about Carrera's new ultimate skill, Annihilation King ABADDON, and like I said, it's an absolute power that can destroy everything. It has a total of 7 sub-skills, and 5 of them are the usual ones like Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Demon Lord Haki, Space-Time Manipulation, and Multi-Dimensional Barrier. As for the last 2, they are new sub-skills, and one of them is called Limit Break. If I had to guess, it's probably the ability to overcome the user's own limitations or weaknesses during battle. The last one is Dimensional Rupture, which is the ability to penetrate a distortion field and space to destroy the enemy. Besides that, when Kondo offered his soul to Carrera, his ultimate skill, King of Execution, which allows the user to attach specific effects into their attacks, was also integrated into Annihilation King ABADDON. There are 4 effects. The first one is called Boundary Breaker, which can destroy the defensive barriers of the targets. The second one is Spellbreaker, and it can destroy the magic channels within targets, preventing them from using magic. Then there's Spellbuster, which basically destroys the magical circuits of targets, and finally Annihilation Bomb, a high density magic bomb that can cause damage by removing magic from the target. Of course, now that Carrera has Kondo's gun, she has access to the bullets that he used as well, like Annihilation Bullet, which incorporates the effect of Annihilation Bomb, Godspeed Bullet, a powerful bullet that incorporates all 4 effects, and it is highly effective against magic users. Then the Exterminating Bullet is a bullet with the Spellbuster and Annihilation Bomb effect, effective against spiritual beings. Another one is called Domination Spellbomb, which is similar to Exterminating Bullet but with the added effect of being able to dominate targets. Finally, we have the Kamikaze Bullet, the strongest attack that contains all the effects but far more powerful. It can reach speeds that are close to the speed of light, penetrate through all kinds of defensive barriers, and can even take down a true dragon, but it can only be used once a day. With her new ultimate skill, Carrera is at the Super Awakened level with an existence value of 7 million, but when you add the golden gun that gives another 3.37 million, her EV will be more than 10 million, so she's definitely crazy powerful. This is why she is considered to have the most magic kills among the primordial demons. Having said that, even though the Eastern Empire was defeated, Rimuru and the others still had to fight Phantom King Feldway and his forces, so they had to prepare a plan for the final battle. But during Walpurgis, none of the Demon Lords wanted Carrera as their reinforcement except for Milim, who was quite fond of her. No surprise there, but seriously, her reputation really does suck. So Carrera, along with Esprit, Geld and Gabiru, was sent to Milim's new sky castle in the kingdom of Eurozania to prepare for Feldway's attack. When Feldway and his forces begin their attack on the world, his ally, the Insect Lord ZELANUS and his forces were sent to attack Milim's territory. The Insecta forces numbered more than 3 million, but when Carrera was allowed to fire the first shot, she fired her most powerful magical strike called the Abyss Annihilation, wiping out over 2 million Insectas. However, one of the insect generals, Palliot, was able to redirect the magical strike back at them by channeling it into the other world. Luckily, Geld and Milim's barrier magic was able to withstand the impact long enough for Carrera to dispel it. She proceeded to charge towards the enemies and she went straight for Zest, the leader of the insect generals, and just for a frame of reference, he was said to be as powerful as the Phantom Commander Zelario, so I'll definitely be looking forward to their fight in the upcoming volume. Who knows, maybe Kondo will magically appear to save her. So yeah, that's basically everything on the Yellow Primordial Carrera, and I think her fight with Kondo was definitely the most interesting among the Demoness Trio because it showed that she doesn't just rely on her magic like most demons, but she can also adapt to use a sword when she needs to. But despite her bad reputation, I think she's just a badass that enjoys explosions, and I can't wait to see what she does in future volumes. Anyways, what are your thoughts on the Yellow Primordial Carrera? And now that I've finished talking about the Demoness Trio, who is your favorite? I would love to hear them in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like, subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell for more Tensura and other anime content in the future. As always, thanks for watching and stay safe everyone.